Coliseum. Teams sick and tired of playing each other. We were ready to go, and so were the Buckeyes and Blue Jays. We already have a penalty, as both teams handed unsportsmanlike conduct penalties before the opening face-off. So Michael Pellegrino, the junior captain for Johns Hopkins, and Regan Como, a junior attackman for Ohio State, start in the box. So here it is. We are underway. Kennedy wins it for Johns Hopkins, and he has it taken away by Ohio State. You see they are ready to go here in the opener. Paul, what do you have for us?
Well, more on that penalty. Those two players that are in the box right now, they were fighting for position on the face-off, trying to get that inside track. The ref warned them to get off each other, and those two did not cooperate. That's why you see them both in the box here.
So the ref's looking to set a tone early as well, but now Quint, the Buckeyes go to work on offense. 5-on-5 lacrosse here.
Ohio State coming off a series of scrimmages. Win against Robert Morris, a loss against Navy, which is eye-opening. Didn't make many saves that day. Johns Hopkins last week in a scrimmage lost to Penn State 14-6, which opened some eyes.
Paul, let's take a look at your keys.
Well, for Ohio State, hockey assists break the Hopkins defense down with multiple passes to Canadian finishers inside. That will equal success for the Buckeyes.
That's pretty successful right there. On cue, Jesse King opens up the season for the Buckeyes with some high heat.
Hopkins does not get the right matchup on King. A lefty, I call him Paul Gate Jr., wearing that number 19 out of British Columbia. Watch him lean in and use his body. Predominantly left-handed. He likes his matchup. Use the body, lean in, turn to your strength. The double is late, and he paints a corner. Body strength, eyes up, great shot.
That's that quick release by King. I know Coach Myers real high on the playmaker's ability to get a shot off even when guys are playing good defense. You saw it there, Quint.
Watching the Buckeyes in practice on Wednesday. 70% of their offense generating from Jesse King.
Shouldering more of the load this year with the graduate Logan Schuss. A transition opportunity saved there by Schneider. Schneider taking over for Pierce Bassett. Now we go the other way. This is Enright up ahead to Carlini. Quint, what are your keys for the Blue Jays?
Well, defensively, starts with defending the pick and roll. Offensively, a smart six-man offense. You know, I just don't think that this Hopkins roster has the type of players that can back you out and isolate and score goals. You got to get 6 guys involved, multiple passes, a lot of off-ball motion.
Some of the key losses on the offensive end for Johns Hopkins to graduation: John Rannigan, John Greeley at the midfield. Here's a shot opportunity for Brandon Benn, who can't put it on the cage. See Greg Dutton, a Maryland native, returning to Baltimore here. The goalie for Ohio State. Back-to-back second-team all ECAC seasons for him.
52% last season. I think it's critical for Dutton as a senior now to get that number north of 55%.
Here's a shot too high. Big hit late, no call. That's Luke Howard delivering the blow. Now here's Wells Stanwyck being guarded by Joe Mueller. These two Baltimore residents know each other very well from their high school days. Ben's second shot of the game is off the mark. So Hopkins goes into the crease, a turnover, third of the afternoon.
Multiple shot possession by the Blue Jays. I like the ball movement. Off ball, though, somebody steps in the crease. Now, this is a Hopkins team last year in their wins. They shot 33%. In losses, the 5 losses, they only shot 20%. That is a critical stat for Johns Hopkins.
Here's King. Being guarded by Pellegrino, junior captain out of Long Island. In goal for the Blue Jays, he's already had one go by him. He's already made one save, Eric Schneider. Out of Massapequa, New York.
Brother Doc led UMass to the NCAA title game. Snyder has started. He started the ball game last year, but this is a whole different ball of wax.
last year was against Mount St. Mary's. Good ball movement by the Buckeyes up top. King again. Looking to get that face dodge, gives it up, but they can't make the grab. And there's a late flag. This will be a man-up opportunity for the Buckeyes. They keep on playing because now the Buckeyes can play free lacrosse here. So a delayed penalty call coming up against the Blue Jays. This is Schneider. Here comes the slide. King's shot. And he gets hit. Jack Riley saying, hey, I'm off.
Twice in this ball game, Luke Howard delivers a hit a tad bit late. Jack Riley there on the scene a tad bit late. Surprised the officials.
But they did make one call, so let's see what it is. Our officials today, Brian Abbott, Michael Highland, and David Sloan. See Nick Myers looking for a second call, looking for the hit on Riley, but here's the penalty on the crease. Pellegrino with the push.
Coach Myers making an emphasis to protect Jesse King, 19, and a bunch of his shooters. You're in a defenseless position as a shooter once you release that ball and you're tracking it with your eyes. Point of emphasis for the officials, cut down on those late high hits.
Last year, this extra man unit converted at 46%. The main threads, Turner Evans, Carter Brown. And they're shutting off behind the cage here. Johns Hopkins is. High pass. So the Buckeyes give it away. James Mom in the right place at the right time for the Blue Jays. An errant pass.
I like the strategy by Dave Petramala. Hopkins coach come out right away and just take away the opposing team's best player.
And Quinn, I think if you're Ohio State there, you have to recognize that 5-on-4, keep your composure. You need to capitalize on opportunities like that. Get Jesse King out of the equation and run your extra man from a 5-on-4 standpoint. Easier to score than 6-on-5.
So the penalty is released. Holden Catoni, number 99, out there for the Blue Jays, along with the freshman carrying the ball right now, John Crawley out of Port Washington.
Crawley's going to invert, played attack in high school.
This is Stanwick now being guarded by a short stick. Gives it up to Catoni. See the slide ready to come, so they get back on Stanwick with the pole. Tony with the face dot, pushed back by Bolt. Stanwick again being guarded by the short stick. Looks for the wraparound, can't put it behind.
Hopkins offense, Johns Hopkins offense this year, very skilled, but not overly athletic in terms of speed and explosiveness.
Here's Catoni, so they work the big little game. Tony, the Canadian product, throws it away.
Ohio State doing a nice job of just packing it in tight.
Great ground ball work there by Turner Evans, but he's popped by Riley. And they say loose ball push. Maybe became a loose ball because it was pushed.
Just turns to Riley and says, settle down, settle down. I mean, as a defender, that's a turnover. That's just a blatant push.
Quinn, take us, though, into that intensity. You've been scrimmaging. You've been playing against the same teams. Your own players, for a couple of months now, fall ball. The lights come on for real, national TV. What's it like that first game out of the
first half of the first quarter, especially if you're seeing your action in your first varsity game, you're going to be overzealous. What surprises me that a player like Jack Riley would commit a foul like that. A guy who's been a four-year starter.
Here's Gordy Kerber, the transfer from Denver. Another Baltimore product.
Second midfield unit here. Kind of a clock-grinding group.
There's a shot from Como. 8:12 left to play in the opening quarter.
Heyman and Quinn, I think it's critical for Ohio State to really manage the takes in play of Jesse King. He just came off the field exhausted. They want this guy to play offense, defense, and wings on faceoffs. You got to manage his reps.
There's Blue Block, the freshman out of Columbus. Gives it up to Carter Brown. Brown gets a step, comes around, loses it. Nice slide by Riley.
Good hard check to the bottom hand, pops the ball out.
In transition for the Blue Jays. Castronovo gives it up. Now Guida, time, room, off the mark. That's transition lacrosse. Guida has a cannon. But the Blue Jays 0 for 5 in the shooting department here early. Now Guida gets pulled by Imbordino. This is Connor Reed with it. High hopes for number 16, Quint. Gets a step.
He can get a step. I don't think there's a question about that. He is one of the more athletic Blue Jay midfielders. The bigger question is what he's going to do with it once he gets the step. That time, his teammates didn't help him out.
Stanwyck feed to the crease. Nice move. What a goal! Ryan Brown gets the Blue Jays on the board.
Sophomore Ryan Brown, really crafty on the inside. Stanwyck's got his eyes up, makes a nice cut, turns back, and look at Brown handle this in traffic, slides and stays out of the crease.
Brown, a midfielder last year, back in his natural attack position, a flair for the dramatic.
His head coach says Ryan Brown makes things happen. Well, he just put the Blue Jays on the board to tie it up. When we return to Homewood, we'll take a look at hot topics in college lacrosse. It doesn't get any bigger than what happened up in Ithaca in the fall.
Head coach Ben DeLuca let go by the Cornell administration. Good to see that Ben ends up on his feet now as a Duke volunteer assistant on John Danowski's staff.
And how about the Albany offense? The highest scoring offense in the last 15 years in college lacrosse. They return 85% of their scoring. Thompson, and Thompson. Lyle Thompson, his brother Miles, and cousin Ty. Most dramatic offensive attack in the nation. It's not even close. These guys are incredible. And Lyle Thompson, a front runner for the Tewaaraton.
Well, if you have any more hot topics we should be discussing, let us know on Twitter with hashtag ESPNULax. And we saw Virginia there in the ACC. What a way to start the season. Down at Klockner on Thursday night. We'll have highlights of the Cavs and Greyhounds at halftime. A thriller in overtime. Now here at Homewood Field, the Buckeyes get the ball off the faceoff.
Interesting strategy by Nick Myers, Ohio State coach, facing off a long pole in Bordino, 44. Putting Jesse King on a wing, and Hopkins now once again with a loose ball push. Symptomatic of a team that's a half a second late on some ground ball scenarios. When you beat me to the pit lane, I have to run up and back.
Here is King being guarded by the short stick. Hands-free, shot blocked.
Well defended that time on the rollback.
Great team ground ball work by the Buckeyes. James Maub losing it, and Ohio State gets it back.
Hopkins getting killed on the ground right now.
Certainly more red jerseys around the loose change than white. Clutch feed, but they can't. They do get it. It didn't look like Carter Brown had enough mustard on it, but he gets it past Schneider, and the Buckeyes regain the lead.
You won't see it in the scoring column, but number 19 superstar Jesse King deserves credit for this goal. On that ride, he was tenacious, went after the Hopkins clear, gave Ohio State another opportunity off this loose ball. The ball spins around, and then a little Carter Brown action.
Clark, that's a great point, because after what I consider to be kind of a forced shot, King went into the corner, double-teamed Malm, got the ball on the carpet. There was a loose ball play-on push. Ohio State maintains possession. So it was all his effort after what I thought was an ill-advised shot.
You know, in a preseason article in the student paper, The Lantern, back in Columbus, David Planning said about Jesse King, he was a leader and captain from day one. He knew he was no longer just hanging around with Logan Schuss. He knew that he had to shoulder more than just a scoring load.
Well, I give Ohio State credit. You know, last year they built their offense around Logan Schuss. Took 143 shots, 72 points. They don't shy away from the star system, and the ball's going to be in the stick of Jesse King every single possession in a meaningful way. I love that. That's big boy lacrosse. Get the ball to your studs.
We could see both Schuss and Jesse King King in Denver this summer, the World Championships for Team Canada. Here's a high shot, Dutton got a piece. That was out of the stick of Connor Reed.
And Quint, what separates King from other midfields, his passing ability. This kid has his head up the entire time. You slide to him too early, he's going to dissect you with pinpoint passes.
Reed being guarded by the short stick. Brown now as well, so they got the big little matchup they want. Brown being guarded by the short stick. Brown gets a step, hits the crossbar. Under 5 minutes to play here in the opening quarter. The visitors from Columbus have a 1-goal lead. Next year, this will be a Big Ten conference game.
In Hopkins, because of this motion offense, Ohio State's having a hard time maintaining their matchup integrity. So you've seen a lot of switches, a lot of favorable matchups created.
Ben goes low. Brandon Ben coming out of his comfort zone a little bit. You see normally a finisher inside Quint. Now they've brought him up top a little bit more here in the opening quarter. Now Stanwick getting reacquainted with Muir. Ben makes the grab, tough angle, didn't have one. Critical ground ball, critical chase to see who's closest to it when it goes out of bounds, and they give it to the Blue Jays. Now they got to sprint, they give the goalie a chance to get back. That's Quint's favorite rule, but
they don't give the goalie a chance to get back, but they don't give a guy a running head start like he's shot out of a cannon coming out of the corner.
Was that a Stanwick again with the restart? I couldn't see in the corner.
It wasn't, but it was very Steel Stanwick-like.
Here's Stanwick now. Brunson Kelly. So Ben up top, and now Reed. Reed comes down the alley, draws the slide. Good slide to the pass inside from the Buckeyes. Good team defense by Ohio State.
That was Joe Muir, number 11 in red. Number 10 overall selection, Major League Lacrosse. He'll go play this summer for the Florida Launch. Muir was a star up the road at McDonald School, but actually played more long stick midfield in high school than close defense. And now his career's matured. He's playing a lot of close. Steady Eddie is what Nick Myers calls him. You won't notice him.
Quint, several Maryland products on this roster. I know they played at College Park last year in the quarterfinals, but you know the Baltimore high school lacrosse scene. What do you think it means to those guys to play their season opener here?
Oh, it's a big deal. I mean, you get the opportunity to come here and take down a team like Johns Hopkins on opening day. It's a big deal. It's an Ohio State roster. 12 players from the state of Maryland. Rosters represented by 13 states. Mostly New York with 10 and Maryland with 12. We got 7 from Ohio, 5 from Canada, and then a bunch of states from the Midwest.
You know that Maryland pipeline from Baltimore to Columbus was created by Joe Bresci, now in North Carolina, but Joe, of course, a Baltimore product growing up.
Really helped by Southwest Airlines, baby. It's a quick little flight. I'm serious.
Oh, Jesse King gets robbed by the crossbar.
I was there on Wednesday. I've had harder commutes to D.C. than I had to Columbus.
You just jack up your frequent flyer miles there? Meanwhile, back here at Homewood Field, saved by Schneider. Coach Petramala doesn't like the call.
That was good physical defense and a clean hit. We're going to have to keep our eyes on Carter Brown, the king of the sneak. Coach Petramala said this is a team that likes to sneak. They get good ball moving up top, and then their attack will turn the corners and sneak. And he paid the price.
Here's Schneider. Weed out there on defense. Now planning, looking to shake and bake on Mom. Feed inside, quick stick. Doesn't happen for Ohio State. Some more big hits. They're letting them play on this possession as Johns Hopkins just cleared out the crease area. And Ohio State returns the favor. Turner Evans with some physical play. And Nick Myers gets the timeout call.
Guys in red are out hustling the guys in white. Every ground ball is coming up Buckeyes. Ball's on the carpet. Korber inside just geeks that one, and then you pay the price. Mouthpiece necessary, chin strap. And on the ride, Hopkins just sneaks.
Looks like Dave Petromalo's a little frustrated with the officiating as well. They're letting him play. They're letting some good physical play on ground balls
and
go.
Hopkins D, they've done a nice job. They just haven't handled the ball when given the opportunity. They've gotten the ball on the carpet, but they just haven't had any ground balls or good clearing opportunities. The Blue Jay team early in this year is going to lean heavily on this defense. I think Coach Petromalo has proven that he can have a good system. They're number 5 nationally last year in defensive efficiency.
All right, here comes Schneider. Rolling back to his right. It's pushed away by Castronovo.
Great feet, 22 in white, Castronovo, and he sits down.
Pellegrino up top on King. So they try from the wing here. This is planning being guarded by James Mom. Mom staying with him. Mom, a captain. Now they get it to King up top. Pellegrino hunts him down. Under a minute to play in the quarter. Trombley behind. Castronovo comes out on planning. Excuse me, make this Schneider. So timer on. 30-second invisible shot clock in play for the Buckeyes. First of the ball game. This was instituted last year, nothing being changed to it. The last 10 seconds will be counted by the trail official. Lanning taking a run at Mom now. Goes to the swim. Pass knocked down. Great check there by Pellegrino with the pop. Shot clock still in play, so it's a shot clock violation. And that fires up the Blue Jay bench. With under 10 to play. Gotta go quickly. Guida checks the clock. Guida under 5. 3. Shot blocked. Imbordino takes one for the team. So Nick Meyer's club couldn't come up with a shot on its last possession, but they have a 1-goal lead on the road at Homewood Field. Next year, this will be a Big Ten clash. Right now, the Buckeyes come to Baltimore and lead by 1 after 1. Next year, of course, the Big Ten will also have Maryland and Rutgers, so it'll be a pretty powerful lacrosse league as Stanwick can't bury the shot. The shooting woes continue.
And it's big for the game. You think about the game changer that Big Ten lacrosse can be in the Midwest for the sport. I met with Gene Smith in the fall, athletic director at Ohio State. He's got a lacrosse helmet on his desk. He was so in tune to lacrosse nationally and the opportunity for Ohio State. Maybe we can get some growth in some other Big Ten schools down the road, like a Northwestern or an Illinois or Minnesota.
How about Michigan State back in the 80s? Michigan State went to the tournament. Northwestern, they'd be good in a heartbeat. But now back to our game here. Let's check in with Paul down on the field.
Just in the huddle with Coach Dave Petromalo. He loves his team's intensity, but he said it's getting the best of them at times. The ticky-tack goals, the inability to clear after a defensive stop. They need to stay composed.
Stanwick with another assist, this time to Reed, and I don't think he was the intended receiver, but the Blue Jays will take it.
Reed picks up the trash. Stanwick operating in a matchup that he likes against the shorty. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The double comes, he flips it inside. A great check. Guida's hands are taken down to the carpet, but watch Reed. It's a double crease. It's a high-low crease, and 16 in white is behind the intended ball receiver. That was 27, Guida. And Reed beats Dutton, who is yet to make a save.
Reed's first career goal. Dave Petromalo telling us this week he is as good an athlete as anyone we've had. And they really think, and now Kennedy goes out and wins another faceoff, so a major question mark coming in for Johns Hopkins was replacing Mike Poppleton, especially when it wasn't sure if Kennedy would be healthy today, but right now he's dominating at the X. He's won 5 of 6.
Look at Phil Castronovo, 22 in white. He had an Achilles injury late in last season, one of the best athletes on the team. His play in transition, critical for creating some offense for the Jays, with all those other midfielders, John Rannigan, John Greeley, and Lee Coppersmith gone to graduation.
Here's Rex Sanders out of Minnesota. Speaking of Big Ten lacrosse. So some fresh legs out there at the midfield for the Blue Jays. Sanders, a breakout season a year ago. Gets a step. Good trail check by Ohio State. Big pop by Howard. And they say Dutton wins the race to the end line.
You know, Quint, you live and die by Rex Sanders. He can make a brilliant play offensively, slice and dice through a defense, but then at times he doesn't make the smartest decisions.
Well, that was a situation where that low righty attackman is availing himself to be an adjacent outlet, so he's front swinging, and the shot comes and there's no backup responsibility. It's probably the left-handed guy on the far side attack has got to work his way behind the goal.
The Buckeyes will wait for King to cross midfield.
And Sanders is not a passer. What do you have, 1 assist last season? 13-1, I believe.
I got the 13 goals.
Yeah, not even 1 assist. Okay.
No. I don't have that on my handy stats. We'll have Russ Dillon, our crack statistician, get all over that.
He and Lee Coppersmith, one-dimensional, downhill, north-south guys.
Now they work the two-man game to get King matched up by Mom. There's a flag, so penalty upcoming on Mom. Mom's getting his money's worth. King goes back to his right.
You got to flush that matchup if you're Johns Hopkins. When Mom is sitting down and battering King's low arm, you have to know as an adjacent or inside defender that this is not a good thing. And get on your horse and get up there and flush the ball out of number 19 stick. Force him to become a passer, because as he backs in here, he becomes more and more dangerous. Look how comfortable he is. Eyes up. Wow, that one hurt too.
Comfortable?
Look, you play for the Victoria Shamrocks in Western Indoor Lacrosse. That's nothing. You're playing against men with wooden sticks.
Excellent point, playing it well. Off season, he played 15 games of boxing and had 111 points. So now the extra man unit again. They did not cash in on their first opportunity as they threw it away. Again, they're shutting off King behind.
12 in red. Planning's got a nice right-handed cannon.
He's up top, and they throw it away again. So another unforced error. And the Blue Jays come up with the ground ball. This is en route. Another missed opportunity in the extra man. So good defense by the Blue Jays. All tied at 2 here in our season opener. Season's already off and running with some exciting midweek games coming up at halftime. We'll have highlights of the thriller down in Charlottesville on Thursday night. Loyola and Virginia, those two programs always think about going to championship weekend, and they did not disappoint. We'll have the highlights of that one coming up at the half. We'll also take a look at some of the other major contenders. Duke looking to repeat, winning the 3rd championship in school history. They opened up with a win over Jacksonville yesterday. Now Bronson Kelly looking to get to the middle of the field. Picked up by Howard. Bordino pushing out on Guida up top, so they go behind. And we get a timer on here on the Blue Jays. We've only had one so far here in the first half. And there's a flag. So an off-ball penalty coming up on Ohio State and Stanwood. It's a pipe, but we'll get an extra man opportunity for the Blue Jays.
Interference on the crease against Ohio State.
30 seconds. It goes on Casey Capinos. Major topic of discussion in the officiating world, the consistency of the timer on, and you can only play defense for so long. There's Capinos right there.
I hope that wasn't the interference.
I don't think we had it.
This should be an excellent extra man group for Johns Hopkins. Highly skilled Good lacrosse IQ. If I were defending them, I'd make it an athletic contest. I'd get out and press.
Last year, Brown had 9 on the extra man. Ben always a threat, as is Guida. Here is Guida up top. Freshman Crawley also on the unit with Ben inside. Penalty released. Hopkins didn't really force the issue, but they find Catoni's shot blocked. A tremendous feed by Stanwyck. Stanwyck looks like he had a hacksaw on that check, but the Buckeyes come up with it anyway. 4-on-3 opportunity. One more. Good recovery, defense by Riley and the Blue Jays.
Excellent transition defense by that close unit. Setting up in their triangle. Good spacing, sticks up in the passing lane. They get there, they move and break down. Excellent, excellent textbook fast break team.
Unit that goes to work now without Pierce Bassett in the cage and without Tucker Durkin, 2 mainstays for the last few years for this program. Now King draws the man. Great opportunity here for the Buckeyes. Schneider up to the task. His 3rd save. Now he's way out. He's going to throw it away. So he made the stop, but gives it right back. Dave Petramala takes a timeout. We'll take a break as well. All tied at 2 here at Homewood.
Covering the All-American.
Dave Petramala telling us this week he is as good as I've seen. So now here is that matchup Paul talked about. Pellegrino, the junior captain, coming out on King. Fights through the pick. King still has it. Tough feed, they get Schneider. Nice pass, shot wide.
Terrific team offense. Everything except the finish. Case where King draws the eyes of the defense and the posture. Great ball reversal.
Schneider, very good shot fake both times. These guys have come out and bid on that.
My notes on Schneider, 22 in red from practice on Wednesday. Great feet.
Out of the Landon School in D.C. So now Pellegrino slides on King. Gets through to Planning. Planning, tough angle.
He can rip it. Strong right-handed shot. He's got a bunch of different releases. I saw 3 overhand, 3/4 arm, and then that underhand motion.
When he's one of the guys that Coach Nick Myers actually lets drop his stick, go low to low. We saw it right there, but this kid, an extra man specialist, you give him time and room from that goal line extended area about 5 yards above. He's lethal, 12 in red.
Planning also from this area, Alexandria, Virginia, played his high school ball at Gonzaga.
There's a little dose of the 2-man game.
And there it is, a little too much of a dose. The moving pick goes against the Buckeyes, so Ma carries it into the box. Here's Brown. Gets his hands free. Stanwyck there for the backup.
You got to check hard. You want that ball to come out of the pocket.
Now Hopkins waiting for the offensive personnel to come on. And here's Reed.
Shooting woes for Blue Jays. Shooting 2 of 16 right now.
Now Guida runs away from the pick, but creates a switch anyway. Turned away, here comes the double. Extra pass to Kelly. Steps in, shot blocked by the noggin. Now it looked like bowling. Stanwyck there for the backup to keep it Johns Hopkins ball with 6:06 left to play in the first half. Here's Reed from up top. They leave him alone. That one sails out of his stick. No communication on the defensive end there.
Talked about this earlier. 9 wins last year. Johns Hopkins shot 33%. That's good. 5 losses, they shot 20%. That's bad, including 11% against Loyola. They were 4 of 36.
That shot got blocked, or maybe Dutton made the save. Buckeyes can't come up with the ground ball, but a great check there. Stanwood tries to keep it in. Ben runs it down. Under 5.5 to play now. Reed, nice pass, but they can't make the catch. He was looking for Kelly. That was a nice cut by Bronson Kelly. Now Dutton. Dutton into the box. Dutton in trouble, and he throws it away. Well, they did not come bail the goalie out. Now he's got to make a long run back to the cage.
This whole defensive possession by Ohio State, Jesse King's been on the field, and this is going to pay dividends for Hopkins later on in this ball game. In terms of wear and tear, fatigue.
Quentin Lacrosse in the early season is like football, where they say the defense is ahead of the offense, pitching ahead of hitting in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier. I thought this game would be kind of under the total, both teams in single digits. They both play very slow from a pace standpoint.
Stanwood gets a pick from Kelly, gives it back to him. There's King on the ball. Now they send Muir after the ball, so King can come off. There's the freshman Crawley. They want to get it to Brown. Brown being guarded by the short stick, Italiano. Brown an attackman now after playing midfield last year. Double with Haas. Muir gets held up by Stanwood. Catoni there to pick it up. So the attack picking up the intensity for the Blue Jays on the ground balls now with 4 minutes left to play in the first half. Tired legs right now on the defensive end, you would imagine, for the Buckeyes. Here's Brown.
If I'm Nick Myers on a dead ball, I'm considering taking a defensive timeout because of that.
Howard fights through the pick. They get it to Stanwood, who has the defense caught up now in the crease. Dutton and Muir come out on him. Stanwood, great check there by Muir. He won't need to take a timeout. Muir showing why he's first team all ECAC.
Left side of your screen, view of the check. It's a trail check. Stanwick tries to get to the 5x5 and turn. Joe Muir, talked about it early. Major League Lacrosse, 11th overall pick to the Florida launch. Coached by Stan Ross. Just a smart play. Knowing that Stanwick's got to bring that ball, bring that stick back to a vulnerable position.
They faced each other twice as seniors in high school. Stanwick, a boys Latin product.
Critical possession for Ohio State now to grind some clock. Give your guys a breather. Just played a lot of defense.
There's planning with time, room, save, Schneider, rebound, doesn't count. No side, wipe it out. Evans in the crease before it's a goal. Nice save by Schneider. And here's Castronovo in the open field.
Left side of your screen. Low release, low location. He's there, body and stick. Player lands in the crease, no goal. Good call by the officials.
In the past, they beat Notre Dame last year. They beat Hofstra. This is their year, if it's going to be ever.
They also have a huge February game against Yale on the 22nd. Same weekend that Hofstra plays Princeton. So some out-of-conference tests for Ivy League teams.
Princeton's going to be really good this year. Great first midfield. A lot of depth there. Mike McDonald down low, scoring goals. I think a lot of it comes down to their ability to defend. You know, they can score dozens and dozens of goals this year. I just wonder about their defense against the good teams.
They also have a Player of the Year front runner in Tommy Schreiber, probably the best midfielder in the country. The Buckeyes go for the steal. They give him a shot. Save. Dunk. So out of the timeout, they get a great look, but they can't cash in as the shooting woes once again continue to plague the Blue Jays. So now, under 2 minutes to play, Ohio State has a timeout to work with. If they can get it in the box and clear it.
Excellent rebound control by Evan Mulcrone, who carries that ball towards the sideline, uses patience, and looks cross field. Good clear.
Nick Myers not wasting any time. takes a timeout as soon as they get it in the box with 1:35. Irish from South Bend on March 16th when they host Virginia. March 16th is a little too close to St. Patrick's Day for me to be in South Bend. Paul and Quinn, you guys might have to do that one on your own. Now out of the timeout, Buckeyes looking for a goal. They had the lead at 2-1 in the first quarter, have not scored here in the second quarter. This is planning. King inside on the crease with Pellegrino on him. Castronovo comes out on Schneider. Going to draw Pellegrino off King inside. Under a minute. Timer on. 30-second invisible shot clock in play for the Buckeyes. Coming up at the half, highlights from Virginia Loyola. We'll also take a look at some of the major national championship contenders. Ohio State in no rush right now. We'll also have a preview of Syracuse and Clemson tonight on ESPNU for college basketball. Under 10 to shoot. King being guarded by Castronovo. Pass knocked down, rebound, save, Schneider. So the Blue Jays will come up with the ground ball. Pellegrino now in transition. King there to stop him, but he has trailers. Pellegrino shovels it to Castronovo. Out of timeouts, Pellegrino from Essex foul, save, dunk. So you mentioned it. The offenses would have a hard time here. Let's send it down to Paul Carcaterra standing by with Dave Petramalo.
Coach, coming into the game, Jesse King was a headline in your scouting report. What's been the biggest challenge defending him today?
You know what? He can just make plays in a lot of different ways. They're doing a lot of back picking with him, and then once, if you can't get through the back pick, they're just rolling him and throwing the ball back to him, and they're isolating him versus short stick. So then they force you to slide, and now they're banging the ball around, and this is a team, when you slide to them a lot, they can bang the ball around and find the open man. 22
shots in that first half, only 2 goals. Why has the shooting plagued you guys offensively?
Well, you know, it's early in the season. We just got to keep at it. We've had some good opportunities. We had one on the doorstep, and Dutton makes a great save with his foot. You know, it's the way it is early in the season. We just got to keep going. We're getting good. The key is we're getting some good opportunities. We just got to stay the course, remain poised, and keep plugging.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
So both coaches looking to come up with some offense in the locker room at the break. A couple of teams looking to make the NCAA tournament, looking to set the tone for the season with a huge win in the opener, but nothing is settled. After 30 minutes of play, we're back with halftime after.
He played a good quarter, and faceoffs have been a positive for Drew Kennedy as well.
Coach Petramalo telling us he wanted to see how Kennedy performed when the lights came on. He had a huge fall, and he wins another one. So let's check in with Paul down on the field.
I spoke to Coach Nick Myers from Ohio State. He said he likes the way they're playing offense. They're able to distribute the ball, get that one extra pass, just not finishing inside. He said those guys have to can those shots. Defensively, I asked him if he was concerned about the 22 shots. He said no, because it's the way that Hopkins is shooting. He thinks they're putting him in poor shooting positions. And then Jesse King's stamina, he said the guy knows how to play. He knows when he's too tired. Quint, you mentioned you got to monitor his reps. I agree with you. As much as King might want to stay on the field, he's going to tucker out in the fourth quarter if he stays at this pace.
So Kennedy, one of the main reasons why the Hopkins has so many shots, has won 6 of 7 faceoffs here, taking over for Mike Poppleton. Now here's Reed, getting a step, draws the slide. Ben's been quiet. Now Stanwyck, inside, Green with a goal.
Stanwyck has 3 assists. He's been involved with every Hopkins goal. Nice little sharp passing. What makes this play is Guida steps towards the man. He'll step towards 42, away from our cameras. Watch him move his feet and cut. Nice timing, gets to the open spot and keeps moving. He's well covered by Hawes, 50. Does a good job shooting through the defender by being strong.
Quint, my question is for Ohio State. Why are you sliding to Brandon Ben, who's not really a Dodger? That's what created that offense. The defense shifted up to 92 and White. Your Ohio State's defense know the personnel of Hopkins.
So Ohio State changes things up at the X, but the result doesn't change as Jake Withers, number 18, a freshman from Canada, gets beat by Kennedy. So right now it's make it, take it lacrosse for the Blue Jays. First lead of the ball game for Hopkins.
Kennedy has a seat on the bench as he sprints off the field.
Same high school that produced face-off specialist Matt Delente, Malvern Prep in Philly. Coach Petromontanis, all those guys talk. They all know the standard that's been passed down. Most recently from Delente to Poppleton, who had an excellent year last year. Part of the Team USA tryouts down at the Champion Challenge in Orlando. Now Brown off the pick. Gets it back to Stanwyck. Here's Crawley. First goal.
John Crawley, first career goal. How does that taste on Homewood Field? When Coach Petromontanis told me this kid would play early as a freshman, I was kind of surprised. I saw him in high school. I thought he was a good player. Didn't think he had the ability to break the defense down, but the one trait he does have is his off-ball play. Spots up, swings it top corner.
Stanwyck picks up his 4th assist. That play started with a nice little pick at X, rubbed off the defense. They get the defense rotating on the carousel. Swing it, kick it, face him off.
Crawley growing up on Long Island. His first coach at the youth level, Marty Bergen, who was an All-American defenseman here at Hopkins in 1983, so he grew up a Blue Jay fan.
Marty Bergen was the reason that Hopkins lost the 1983 championship when he tore his hamstring and couldn't play.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Next thing you know, Cuse went on a monstrous run. I think they were down 13-5 at the time.
Well, Marty Bergen's got to be smiling now watching his product come here to Homewood Field and get a goal in his first ever game.
That last goal was how the Blue Jays want to play offense this year. I talked about it earlier in this game. They're not built to dominate you with their dodging and score a lot of unassisted goals. They're built to swing it, to kick it, to be very skilled, to be smart. And that little pick at X created an advantage. They got the defense rotating, and they can handle the rock.
So it's been over a significant period of time, but Johns Hopkins has scored the last 3 goals, and the Buckeyes on the ropes. Even though they're only down by 2, the offense has been stagnant. Now Guida draws the switch. Back to his left. Now here's Stanwyck. All 4 assists. Looking for number 5. Dutton says not here. Stuffs Ben. And now he's in trouble. A lot of noise, no flag. Coach Ryer's wondering what we have to do to get a flag. The Buckeyes have gone 24 minutes without a goal. Well, they'll probably work some clock and make some substitutions, get King out there. Quint, how do the Buckeyes initiate some offense here?
Well, the ball's got to start with 19 in red, Jesse King. I think the player who needs to step it up a bit is Turner Evans. Mid-East/attackman from Peterborough, Ontario. Highly skilled, good player. Works in tandem with King. He's been kind of a non-factor.
They're double polling him now up top with Riley.
He had 26 goals last year.
Here's King looking to give it up, and he does. This is Adam Trombley being guarded by the freshman short stick Carlini. Quick ball movement, King.
The power of ball reversal. King's got 2. Near side action, the defense stares. You change fields, 1 more down low. Snapshot high. King beats Snyder to the punch. Assist from the guy I was asking for more from, Turner Evans.
And Quint, that's that box lacrosse release of Jesse King, who spends all summer in those indoor hockey rinks, the snappier release that Nick Meyer said. He can get a shot off in just a second.
So they send Imbordino back to the X to see if they can slow down Kennedy. The pole pushes it forward, but Kennedy goes and gets it. And he sends it to Schneider. So after a lull in the scoring, the offense is almost erupting here in the third quarter as the Buckeyes get their first goal in just over 25 minutes. This is Radzowitz clearing it. Now the Blue Jays settle things down. Radzowitz, a freshman out of the Syracuse region.
If Ohio State's going to win this game, Joe Muir, 11 and white, the defender, has got to do a better job on Will Stanwick.
There is that matchup right here. They set a pick for Stanwick. Now Ben up top being guarded by a shorty. Ben looking to get that low release off, gets it up instead. Stanwick inside. They can't stop him yet. They get 5 assists for number 42.
Tony, 99 in white. Watch how well. You'll see him left side of your screen. He starts that cut. Kind of changes the angle of it, presents a visual target. Stanwick puts the ball absolutely on the money. Look at it, eyes up. You fill that spot. Great finish, high to low. Off-ball play, essential in a motion offense.
Stanwick ties his career high now with 5 assists in a game. So now Hopkins changes it up at the X, giving Kennedy a break. This is Medeiros, and just like that, Ohio State wins a faceoff. So now Capinos gets it over to King, Planning waiting to come on as well. Castronovo waiting to guard Planning. Cat and mouse game with a substitution situation on for both teams. Now Como on.
Hopkins face-off man, Drew Kennedy right now. They're wrapping his left ankle. This is critical for the Jays to keep those runs. He's the guy that has the experience at the X for the Blue Jays.
And he was dominant. As Coach Petramano said, had a tremendous fall and looked great in the scrimmages, but they were unsure about his availability in the midweek.
Undisclosed back injury, didn't play against Penn State.
So Schneider comes out and then Burnham. A great feed inside by Carter Brown to Como, and they take advantage.
Decisions. You got so many to make. And when you're a goalie, they're all big, important decisions. A hung defender, you come out, you do your best, and off ball, just a nice cut. Good hops by the ref as well.
I like the vision by Carter Brown there, but more importantly, how does Hopkins respond now with Kennedy on the bench, getting that ankle taped? Medeiros right now has to stop this run for Ohio State.
There's a sophomore out of Smithtown, New York on Long Island, pushes it forward and comes up with it. So he gets the win here, gets a step, goes right down Charles Street and shoots wide. Buckeyes giving him the shot.
That's well played. Transition defense. You know who's carrying the ball in. Is it a Pole? Is it a Fogo?
Fogo, an affectionate term for face-off, get-off, a face-off specialist. So after a dormant second quarter with just 1 goal, the offense is getting the better of the play right now. Nice knockdown by Italiano, but he can't come up with the ground ball. Quick restart, Italiano not ready on the field, so Hopkins looking to take advantage. Now he's back. Ben given some space. Easy save by Dutton. Looking for the outlet. Instead, he plays it safe. This is Robbie Haas, Gilman product here in Baltimore. His father, a tremendous player at North Carolina. Head to Italiano in the middle of the field. He touches it up in the box. And now the Buckeyes will go to work.
Nice patience in that clearing game by Dutton and company. Taking their time, good spacing, didn't panic as time started to work against them. That's one thing. Nick Myers, an excellent coach at Ohio State. I thought he runs about as tight a practice as I've ever seen. It's 2 years in a row now I've gotten a chance to watch him. 2 hours to the minute indoors, and those guys are working, improving. Very impressive.
Here's Planning. Now over to Evans. Step, nice pass. They can't bury it. Big hit there. Carter Brown misses on a huge opportunity in the Blue Jays with some physical play. Great transition. Pellegrino wants it as a trailer. Here's Pellegrino. One more. Stanwyck cannot hook up with Brown. King now on the defensive end.
The sneaker, Brown, 14. You see him sneak. He's down on the knee, pops up just for a moment. You know, if he's down on the ground, that is an illegal hit. But he did get that knee back up.
They try to jam the crease. Pellegrino there, and he scores! The junior captain in the right spot at the right time, picking up some trash and turning it into a goal.
This guy is the lifeline of the Hopkins team, the junior captain, Pellegrino. He's accustomed to playing some offense in high school. He stays on, scored a few goals last year. But this kid is an animal.
His third career goal makes it a 2-goal lead again for Johns Hopkins. When we return, we'll talk to one of the greatest legends to ever play here for the Blue Jays, Paul Rabel, looking to make it back for Team USA. And will he be joined in Denver by
Steele Sandwich? Both of you just selected as the top 30 members for Team USA Denver World Championships. But we'll start with this game and you, Steele. What's it like after all this time you spent playing lacrosse? You rarely get to see your kid brother Wells play. What's it like for you to be at Homewood watching him today?
Oh, this is great. This is probably the biggest game I've been here watching Wells play. So it's great to see him doing well. Hopefully Johns Hopkins can kind of hold on here in the second half.
Paul, will gear towards the World Championships, but let's go back. You won it in 2010 in England. You were the MVP of the World Championships. Now it's on home soil in Denver. What's the motivation like for you now that we're playing in the States in 2014?
Well, it's just, you know, anytime you get a chance to represent your country, it's an amazing opportunity. Playing with a guy like Steele now, younger guys are coming in. But like you said, on the home soil, it's just, you know, just even bigger impression, you know, because when we're out there, we put the jersey on and represent our friends, our family, the guys that we play with, the guys that tried out that didn't make it, and then our country and our soldiers. I mean, everything. And then to be able to do it at home is going to be an awesome, awesome time, awesome experience.
And your next 5 months gearing up to the World Championships, what's that like for an elite athlete like you, Paul?
Training. You know, we have the MLL coming up, so training camp's going to start next month, and then the trick will really be trying to keep that cohesion amongst the players throughout. And so we have, you know, these email lists, these text messages. We meet for training camp twice prior to the game. So, you know, it's a challenge I think most team sports have, and we're going to see that.
And Steele, for you, your first taste of international lacrosse, what's this experience been like for you after a great career at Virginia?
It's just amazing. It's been a dream line. Just to move on to the top 30 is just so special. Really humbled by it. So really looking forward to kind of getting after it the next few months, and we'll see what happens.
Well, thanks, gentlemen. We look forward to watching you in Denver.
So as Paul Rabel mentioned, they'll have a mini training camp before the Major League Lacrosse All-Star Game in Connecticut, then off to Colorado in July. Back here, Guida loses his man, gets his hands free. Brown there with the backup, looking to jam the crease, and he does! Brown to Ben. 7-4 Hopkins.
Guida's the catalyst good topside swim move, puts himself in an excellent shooting angle, bounces that ball wide. And we talked about the extraordinary skill level. Brown picks that shot out of the air. Ben times his cut. Sliver of an angle, ball's in the back of the goal. Once again, Johns Hopkins, not the most athletic offense, one of the more skilled you're ever going to see.
And a huge development here again as we've been following you. Drew Kennedy back in the game. He won the last face-off to get that possession, and he's back out there now. So the trainers took care of that ankle. And let's see what the call is. So that whistle goes against Kennedy, so the Buckeyes now with a chance, but for Ben, 17 straight games with a goal.
Very good player, drafted by the Chesapeake Bay Hawks in Major League Lacrosse. An exceptional right-handed finisher, inside mid-range. Just needs to work on his overall game if he's going to be an impactful player at the pro level.
Played high school ball in the States at Culver Military Academy in Indiana. Manning looking to set up a pick, goes away from him. They get it to King up top, now being guarded by Riley. And they shovel it to King, a little two-man game here. Step down and a goal. Turner Evans.
An absolute gem of a goal. Getting creative in the two-man picking game. King and Evans. You see King set the initial pick, then a little flip. Rosie, swim, kick and finish, near side hip. These guys have a lot of different tricks, Clark.
Yeah, Quint, that is two-game box lacrosse at its best. You see King with the head up, and out of all these great Canadians that have played at Ohio State, Logan Schuss and Jesse King, Coach Nick Myers said Turner Evans might have the best set of hands out of all these guys.
So they go back to Jake Withers at the X, and he moved early. So Kennedy wins another one. You know, the interesting thing about that two-man game, there were two poles involved too, and they still were able to execute it.
Face-off storyline has been one huge in the second half. Johns Hopkins now running away in terms of time of possession. They found their shooting stroke. 2 for 22 in the first half for the Blue Jays. If you weren't with us, 5 of 9 now in the second half. Getting better looks.
Courtesy of this man, Wells Stanwyck. He has been the distributor. Crowley gives it up, but they lose it. Great check. Buckeyes get it. Huge whistle here against the Buckeyes. Playing without a stick, what was it?
He was pushed from behind without a stick.
Huge call here by Brian Abbott.
Coach Myers is 5 yards on the field.
That's a tough call.
That is just a killer of a call. You make the ground ball play. You view left side of your screen. Okay, are you playing without a stick? You're going to get your stick. Playing without a stick? Contact is made there, so by rule, you got run. You got trucked from behind.
Now Dutton comes out of the cage, gets back in time. Here's Ben. Nice shovel pass. And the Blue Jays take advantage. Mark that down. That is a huge swing here. The Buckeyes thought they had a fast break. Instead, it's Ben to Stanwyck. And it's 8-5 Hopkins.
I mentioned earlier, Ohio State is pressing out on Brandon Ben. It's not because of his feeding ability. It's because of his ability to stretch a defense with a mid-range shot. But he smells that out. Stanwyck with the 5 assists now becomes a goal scorer. Versatility in this offense right now.
That's just poor communication by the Buckeyes. They send 3 to Ben's eyes, and then there's no backside rotation.
Another face-off violation against Ohio State. So danger time here for the Buckeyes, down by 3. And Johns Hopkins playing make it take it at the face-offs, courtesy of Kennedy.
I understand why the referee made that call on the interference by rule. But intent, and I mean, if there ever was a situation, play on, no advantage gained either way, that was it right there.
13-3 in the face-off department right now here for Johns Hopkins. So Dave Petramala said he wanted to see Drew Kennedy when the lights came on. The lights are on here at Homewood Field. Moving pick called against the Blue Jays. Now the Buckeyes. Obviously tons of time left here, down by 3 with King and Evans and some of these offensive weapons that they have. Planning, being guarded by Ma. Italiano's going to look to come off. Let Como come on. Landing from the wing. Sneaky shot, Snyder ready for it. Petramala last year told Schneider it was his job to hold on to. Worked extremely hard in the offseason. Playing very well in his second career start.
Eamon and Quint, depth already an issue for Ohio State. One of their top short stick defensive midfielders, Mike Italiano, right now came to the sideline. Trainers are working on his lower leg, but they need 24 in red to really be a two-way guy. He's great on ground balls, and if he doesn't get back in this game, it could be bad.
Connor Reed draws the slide. Catoni, the jump shot too high. 9.3 to play in the quarter.
Buckeyes not a deep team, especially at the short stick defensive midfield position because of injuries.
Stanwyck gets above goal line extended, working back to the right. Flips it inside. Saved up. That'll do it for the quarter. So Nick Meyer's team on the road in the season opener. Down by 3, the Blue Jays carrying the play in the third quarter. Let's take a look, as you mentioned, from Paul Schreiber High School, a high school All-American, 48 goals last year as a senior on Long Island. Interesting story. One of his highlights, as we mentioned, he was already a Blue Jay fan because of Marty Bergen, but one of his highlights on his recruiting visit was when Coach Petramala took him down the street to Chipotle. He said, that sealed the deal. I was coming to Johns Hopkins after that.
I would rather eat at CC Carryout myself.
Up ahead, Castronovo. Dutton with the save. He gobbles up the rebound out of the air.
There's some good dives here in this northern Baltimore neighborhood for all sorts of sandwich, variety of poisons.
Quinn, you're not going to sell a Long Island guy on a sandwich.
King falls asleep on Castronovo.
Crab cake sandwich can be pretty good on a recruiting trip card.
That whistle goes against the Blue Jays when Castronovo looked like he created a turnover with King falling asleep on him behind him. But the Buckeyes get it back.
The Ohio State huddle right now. Nick Myers, before they took the field in the fourth quarter, stick to the offensive plan. He said Jesse King creating, the defense shifting, and they're looking to really pound the ball inside defensively, though. He wasn't happy with the group, so the lack of communications cost them on those off-ball goals by Hopkins.
They go to that two-man game again. King had an opportunity. Goes to his right. Schneider ready for the low shot. Clamps on the rebound.
I think that's the balance for a Canadian one-handed player, predominantly a lefty, is how much do you use that offhand? Because the other guy is going to sit and give it to you. You know, when do you take it? How do you take it? I always thought the Gates and Tommy Marichuk were masters at incorporating their offhand.
On the other end, Eric Schneider grew up watching his brother, as Quint mentioned earlier, lead UMass to the title game in Philadelphia back in 2006, then waited his time here behind Pierce Bassett. One career start coming in. Job his now, and certainly not going to give it up after this performance. A tremendous second career start for the Massapequa, New York product. That pass gets knocked away. Ben can't come up with it. Huge ground ball here in the open field. Still loose. Now the Buckeyes go and get it. Unsettled opportunity for Ohio State. Now it's a double. Evans gives it up to Carter Brown now. Trombley's been quiet.
We got three shorties. Adam inside! Adam inside! Adam inside!
Got three shorties on the field for Hopkins now.
The Ohio State bench recognized it as well.
Got a lot of good matchups to pick from.
Lanning draws two. Extra step, save Schneider. Hit him right in the numbers. Quita shovels it ahead. Or was that Kelly shoveling it ahead to Quita? Stanwyck. Not down low enough to pick it up. King doing some dirty work for Ohio State. Now Dutton.
See, those scramble ground balls today have all come up Ohio State, and it's going to be a long-term issue for Johns Hopkins when they play the more athletic teams in the ACC.
Once again, as you would expect, if you follow this Johns Hopkins program, a loaded schedule. Now here comes Dutton to his left hand.
He put it in his left hand. That's legit.
Dutton, the outstanding goalie in the state of Maryland, his senior year at Calvert Hall.
Here he is. Second time today, he's carried into the zone with confidence.
King gets it back. Scores! How did he get it back in his stick in traffic?
One of the most underrated players in college lacrosse a season ago broke the 50-point mark in 2013. And you're seeing a full skill set on display with Jesse King. This kid is incredible. Saw his passing, breaking the defense down, but those are just the hands and the lacrosse ability. How smooth he is with the stick. It's like an extension of his body, 19 in red.
There's a game sense there when his man, Econ Schuler, ball watches and steps towards the ball carrier. Boom, he pulled the string and cut behind him.
So now the critical face-off. They go back to Weathers, and his job now is to make it 3-on-3 instead of 1-on-1. And he does that here. And he wins it. Comes up with it. Goes the other way. Now tries to hold off Castronovo, and he does. Pass too high. Looking to play tic-tac-toe there. But Trombley's pass, cross cage, just a bit high, the diagonal feed. Quint, you finally win a face-off. Do you like pushing it in the transition game, or do you pull it out and run your set?
I like pushing it, but you're only as good as your stick work.
They get it back, and Bordino creates the turnover. Nobody picks him up. He shoots. Schneider gets a piece. So the Blue Jays picking it up. Excuse me, the Buckeyes playing with a little bit more pep in their step right now. Enright pushing away. Now comes the double. Turner Evans gets called for holding it against his chest, and now a delay game penalty. Evans is going to go to the box out of frustration. He just cost his coach and his team there.
Delay game called against Ohio State. Technical foul. Hopkins with the man advantage for 30 seconds.
Tied up well here. This is good defense. You sit down, you get your stick topside, take that away. And then you see numbers. Here comes a double. Lights out, game over, stick on chest. Now here comes the delay. Drop the ball immediately. Don't flip it to the ref. Don't flip it to the opposing team. You just got to put it down.
It was Enright man-on-man defense, then Riley with the double.
And on our officiating call with Warren Kimber and Mark Dixon this week, that was a point of emphasis for these refs now. In year two of these, the faster restarts, just put the ball down.
Good ball movement. Brown does not take the shot. One more. Now Queen up top. Now Brown. He'll let it fly, but a great check by Hawes getting out on his hands. 4 seconds left in the extra man. Lita wants it. Penalty released. play in the season opener here from Homewood Field. Number 13 with the lead on number 9. Moving pick ball this time against the Blue Jays. Dutton's got Mueller in the middle of the field. He's going to play it safe here.
Brian Abbott, far side official, making every call here in the second half.
There's Italiano. 11 turnovers here for Johns Hopkins. The way this game's gone, you got to look at the scoreboard and remind yourself that Ohio State's only down by 2 goals. You get the feeling that Johns Hopkins has dominated the play more than that. They're running themselves into trouble here.
I like this defense. Now you press out against Gorberg, and you force the Buckeyes of Ohio State to burn a timeout. So Ohio State was trying to do some stuff in the sub game. Hopkins realized it. They liked their matchup. They stretch, they press.
We'll attend this opener for Wells Stanwick.
Vision, part of his skill set, and it's been on display today. I love his ability to stop and go, create separation, and then have confidence to feed his teammates in tight spots. He's got great accuracy on his passes. A little good luck never hurt anybody as well. He can bury the ball from a sliver of an angle, and he understands team offense. Great start to the season for Wells Stanwick.
There you see there, 6 points, and on 6 of the 8 goals. Let's check in with Paul.
Coach Petramala, real happy with his defense in that last huddle. He said, guys, just take a deep breath. You're doing an excellent job. He applauded the unit for taking the strong hands away from some of these Canadians on this Ohio State team. He said, playing the 2-man pit game, which we see right here, is critical, all about communication.
Another save for Schneider.
Snyder's been very good, but some of these shot selection for Ohio State in the second half has made his job easy. Shooting down at his feet, not changing levels, shooting with insufficient angles. Snyder's got 10 saves, pumping his fist now behind the play.
Previous career high was 5.
Quint, you mentioned that shot selection. David Planning came off the field real upset with himself that he didn't change those levels.
So now how patient are the Blue Jays here with 8:10 left to play. Now again, the officials enforce the timer on the same way here in the fourth quarter with the lead as they would in the first quarter. Opening possession, the last possession, consistency. So now Guida gets a step on Imbordino, moves it behind. Brown gets above goal line, extended, and beats Dutton.
Starts with Guida and a wing dodge right in front of your camera. Now he draws the defense. Hawes comes halfway and tries to slow play that. And Brown makes him pay. You see 50 hedge up. He's got to get back and turn the corner. Brown takes that extra step, left-handed to greatness.
And Quint, what I like about this Hopkins attack, Brown and Stanwick, they're great low-angle shooters. They just need that slight little space in terms of room. Come around that goal line, extend, and they can.
Kennedy pushes it forward, wins it to himself. Good recovery by Withers, though, to create the ground ball, and he comes up with it. So the freshman out of Canada, battling at the X. Buckeyes get it in the box. They get it over to King. 7:15 left to play, down by 3. Schuler comes out on the ball. Here's Planning, who took that last shot. Nice move. King with the swim, back to his right. This time, it has some mustard on it.
Quentin, you mentioned Paul Gate Jr., and I had a kind of question. You've been saying it for a couple of years, but kudos to you. And Hard to compare anyone to the Great Gate, but this is Paul Gate to a T. You look at Ohio State, they move the ball. That little stutter step right there, the swim over, and then the right hand. Coach Nick Meyer said he has as good of an offhand as any Canadian player he's ever seen, and you see it right here.
There's a lot going on there. He catches, gives a pump fake, swim, back to his right, jump shot with his offhand against a very quality opponent, Jack Riley. Ball in the corner. Oof. A lot to like.
Living up to the preseason first-team All-American billing here on national TV at Homewood Field. He ties a career high with 4 goals, and Withers got a little too aggressive with the push.
Jesse King's one of those players, Eamon and Paul, that we can go watch for the rest of his career, and you know who he's going to be without even a number on his jersey, just by his style. You know, so many young players think style's about neon socks or long hair. That's not about style. Your style's defined by how you play the game.
Stanwick up top, Guida, shake it bake to the right, save, huge save. Now on the clear. Someone's got to go help him out. Looking to sell the ref on a call. He works. Late flag behind him. Greg Dutton gets the call. Now he's still on his feet in the box. Free possession here for the Buckeyes. Now they say slow it down. Look at Dutton fired up as well. He should be. A tremendous individual effort by the senior goalie.
I couldn't tell if he was trying to sell it or he pulled his hamstring.
That's what I thought a little bit, but they were fine when he was selling. So now a free possession here with the flag down. King gets a pick.
Now, if you're a teammate of Jesse King right now, you got to move without the ball. Understand this Hopkins defense has become mesmerized with the ball on his stick.
Bronson Kelly almost came up with a huge takeaway there, but King able to get it back.
Move off the ball. They're all staring upfield.
Down by 2, free possession. 5:10 left to play. They get a step. If it stays in bounds, the Buckeyes come up with it. It'll still be Ohio State ball. Great play there on the ground ball. Feet inside, wheel it down. King's got 5. King will make the highlight reel. Credit Gordy Korver for the ground ball to keep the possession alive.
Excellent point. Excellent point. The ball's rolling out of bounds. Korver keeps it alive to himself. The defender overruns the play. Another 50-50 ground ball ends up with the Buckeyes. Power. Indoor Canadian players can handle the ball with a guy draped all over him. That's not bad defense, but you must be topside as a midi there defensively between the ball and your man. Reed played that on the backside. He got torched.
Yeah, a lot of guys out there who aren't used to playing defense.
And Eamon, Connor Reed didn't have a chance on that. The guy they wanted on the field guarding Jesse King was right next to me. It's 34 and white. Mike Pellegrino trying so hard to get on the field to get that matchup. They just couldn't get it through the box.
So a huge violation there on the face. And now another delay game call? Wow, the officials making their presence felt right now. What's this call? So let's set the stage for you. Hopkins was already down a man, so that was a huge whistle against Withers because that gave Johns Hopkins possession. Then Coach Meyer's club got called for delay a game, so now they're not a man up at all. It's 5-on-5.
You got to twitch him out. Great time for them, too. Yeah, that's the 3rd violation against Ohio State in the second half.
Where's the delay? That right there?
I think it was a face-off violation. Their 3rd of the second half.
But that wasn't the penalty. There's a penalty called against Gordy Kerber for delay. I think they got 29 and 19 confused, but that really didn't look like a delay by Jesse King. See, there's the violation on Withers. And now where's the delay? Nevertheless, 5-on-5 for about 30 seconds here.
Quint, you mentioned the third violation. Korber's in the box right next to me. He's the in-home. He's serving this penalty.
There you go. Another stop by Dutton as Kelly had a step on his defender.
Ooh, you're not going to like that shot when you come over to the sideline after the next possession.
So there you go. It was a delay game. It was not a delay game. It was the third violation and a half by a team.
Now Ohio State goes on the extra man. For 30. What's left on the right side of your screen.
Now that penalty's released, all even now here with 3:44 to play. King has been the man for Ohio State, and Enright quickly goes out on him. They double pull the midfield, Planning being guarded now by Pellegrino, who takes advantage of a short stick matchup. Schneider being guarded by Castronovo. They've been on each other all day. Schneider gets a step. Feet inside. Goal, Korber.
Down 9-6. It's been 3 straight from Ohio State. Talked about Charlie Snyder, 22 in red with good feet. His eyes are up here. Zigzag in out, zigzag in out. A Hopkins player, Weeda 27 drops his stick. Watch it. He's got to go after his stick, leaving Korber wide open. That cannot happen.
Korber, a welcome addition, the Denver transfer, making his presence felt here in the fourth quarter. Always been a great finisher. He's a Baltimore kid, but fits perfectly in this Ohio State offense. He's got a little Canadian flair to him, Quinn.
Lady Gilman for Brooks Matthews. Wanted to go to a big school. Kennedy wins it, but loses it. Kennedy loses it out of bounds, and look at that Buckeye bench. Out of the box. Three unanswered goals by the Ohio State Buckeyes. Under 3 minutes to play.
Talked about Ohio State's lack of depth. They've run this first midfield throughout the entire ball game. But right now, adrenaline kicks in. You're going to get to that finish line just based on good juice.
The first half, Dave Petronella took a timeout on defense. Wonder if he's thinking about that now if he gets an opportunity. Como goes behind. Brown gets a step. Brown gets a shot. Schneider with the save.
That's a game saver.
His 11th of the ball game, keeps it tied and gets it back to Johns Hopkins, and Dave Petronella stalking the officials looking for a timeout. And he gets one. We had a thriller Thursday night in Charlottesville here on Old Spice College Lacrosse. Another nail-biter tied at 9, 1:50 left to play.
Carter Brown for a really good move at X right here. Breaking ankles, turns the corner, and I think he kind of rushed it. You know, he had a little more time than he thought because it was such an explosive move behind the goal.
Ulax King, the preseason first-team All-American. Well, Stanwyck, the junior from right here in Baltimore, might even get a few votes for Schneider after that save he made with just over 2 minutes left to play to get it back for Hopkins.
Logan Schuss was able to do it for the Buckeyes last year, and now it's Jesse King's turn. A player on the national level from midfield position, first-team All-American caliber player who will be in the Tuarton talk after an effort like this on TV.
If you are tuning in to watch Memphis against Temple, American Athletic Conference Women's Hoops, the game is available on ESPN3 and watch ESPN. Paul, what do you have as the Blue Jays come out of the timeout?
Coach Bobby Benson said we haven't seen zone all day, but expect Ohio State to throw a potential wrinkle here. Otherwise, you have the offensive set, and Guida's the most experienced guy. That's what they want handling the ball.
That's where it begins here, and he draws the slide quickly. Catoni! Stanwick. Back to Catoni. Looking to get underneath, draws the slide, man on the doorstep, and it's a goal. Now they wipe it out. Catoni went in the crease on the feed. A huge call, quick restart. Imbardino wide open at midfield, but Haas does not force the issue. A huge call right there. And the fans here at Homewood voicing their displeasure.
Left side of your screen, you see the move. Definitely in the crease. How did he get there is the question, but he was in.
Now Ohio State, one timeout left to play with. Their last lead, 5 minutes, 54 seconds left to play in the first quarter. The score was 2-1. Now here are the visitors from Columbus, Ohio, come into historic Homewood Field and have a chance to take the lead with less than 40 seconds left to play in regulation. They're going to hold for the last shot, it looks like here. The invisible shot clock out of play right now. They're going to go with King against Pellegrino and see what happens. What a matchup this is to start. Now under 10. King looking to swim through a double team. And he gets called for warding off. We're going the other way now. And we have bonus lacrosse in the opener from Homewood. Dave Petramala's defense, led by Michael Pellegrino, comes up with the stop on Jesse King and the Buckeyes.
You called it, Eamon. Pellegrino, 34, and White just digging in, good position, standing toe-to-toe, and then he got some help. Here's the goal that was waves off. Wells Stanwick kicks it to Holden Catoni. Nice little toe drag inside to Brown. Ball's in the goal, but you see on the top of your screen, 99's in the crease. Keep your eye on 99, the guy with the ball right now. Boom, you see that foot and hip? He's in the crease. Good call by the official who's right there on the spot. Now the question you have to ask yourself is, how did that player get in? Was he pushed or was it from the front? Looked to me that was from the front. So an excellent job of officiating.
Need to stick to their bread and butter. He said the two-man game defensively. He's putting a lot of pressure on his long sticks. He doesn't want to slide to the crease and give opportunities like that last goal that was called back from Hopkins.
Interesting, they go back to Imbardino at the face-off after Weathers had negated somewhat Kennedy's advantage, but Kennedy wins it easily, and now Dave Petramala takes a timeout. So a huge face-off win by Kennedy, and he's dominated the whole game.
19-4 advantage for Johns Hopkins.
Their battle with cancer, so heavy hearts when that loss for the Johns Hopkins lacrosse community.
You see Lloyd Bunting as well, former defender number 75, one of the absolute all-time great defenders in the history of college lacrosse. Look him up, Lloyd Bunting, Johns Hopkins, and a great man. Used to sit off to our left here and give me a high five.
Let's check read down the alley. Then he gets picked off by Halls. So Halls read it, and the pass didn't have enough on it, and it equals a Hopkins turnover in overtime.
Nice play by Halls. Really good, complete skill set for a defender. Does all the subtle things well, and he capitalized on a lazy pass.
So now how quickly do the Buckeyes take timeout on cue?
That's
With a win over Johns Hopkins.
If you're Jesse King, understand how quickly you're going to get doubled here now. Guys need to be up. Think of yourself as a passer.
Castronovo comes up. But the Buckeyes getting back, planning. Gets it to King. So here we go, the All-American. Pellegrino. They go with Riley. What a matchup here. Huge ground ball by David Planning. King goes to the crease. Planning being guarded by Maul. King driving on Pellegrino. Comes the double.
Nice recovery off the double. It's going to go early to 19. He needs to know that.
Planning. King. Shoots. Still alive. Feed to the crease. What a save by Schneider. We continue to play because of Schneider, but the Buckeyes still have it. An Ohio State player is down, hurt, but the 12th save of the game by Schneider, the most crucial right now.
How about that flurry? Unbelievable stop. Great team offense by Ohio State. Hopkins rotating and recovering, and the goalie stands on his head to make this save. Good catch behind, and watch this hit now. Watch this hit.
So Planning comes off after getting drilled by Castronovo, but right now there's the man of the hour for Hopkins. He made a critical one with just over 2 minutes to play in regulation, and now we're still playing because of Eric Schneider. There's Korber up top. King inside. Pellegrino on him. Now King going to set a pick, trying to work the two-man game. Instead, they let Schneider go. You see that Pellegrino so reluctant to come off Jesse King. 1:24 to play. Sudden victory here at Homewood. Now King sets the pick, but Pellegrino able to recover. Pellegrino fights through the pick. Schneider spinning on Mom. Now they got the matchup they want. Here it is. King against the short stick. It's the captain, James Mom.
Occupy and move off ball. The double's already there. Somebody's open.
Yep, Riley waiting to pounce. King stands still but gets rid of it. Brown. Schneider cuts. Brown gets hacked. No flag.
You have to take his head off in overtime.
Why? Is this the NHL? Under 30 to play. Out of timeouts.
Terrific team defense now. Hopkins is digging in. It's Ohio State. It looks tired on up.
Here's Schneider being guarded by Mom. He's got to go. 5. And he'll throw it away. Good defense by Johns Hopkins.
How about that D? It was Michael Pellegrino who said, this team revolves around our defense. And you talk about digging in and making stop after stop. There it was.
So Eric Schneider made a critical one late in regulation, makes an even bigger one in overtime, and Dave Petramala doesn't look too excited for double overtime here at Homewood, but this is why we're still playing.
Little one-touch kick save with the right foot.
And then here's the call that the Buckeye fans might be talking about on that ride back to Columbus. And right. That's loud.
These guys are exhausted. If he can keep some of these offensive guys on the field, they have a huge advantage.
Imbordino against Kennedy. Imbordino ties him up, comes up with it. Johns Hopkins ball. Pellegrino with the check on Imbordino. So let's see. The report was he might not take a timeout here on the opening possession. Who has the ball? It's Catoni, 99, Ben, and now Reed.
It's a nice strong check. Ohio State wanted the hold.
Here's Guido. Imbordino with him step for step. Now draws the double. Ben. The Ohio State defense should be rested. Most of the action down at the other end lately. There's a step down opportunity for Ben, but off the mark. Stanwyck there for the backup with 3:16 to play.
So important in overtime for a defense to communicate through fatigue. Stay true to your rules.
So now Dave Petramalo takes time out to get the right personnel out there and have Coach Benson draw something up as well. The defense have to come up with a stop. Here you see Pellegrino, the Blue Jays, they hope their day is done on the bench. They hope they score here and they get to celebrate.
Look for Rob Guido coming off a pick. Coach Bobby Benson drawing something up. Coach Petramalo told Benson, don't overcomplicate things here.
Here is Guido on the invert.
Most of Hopkins' goals have come when the ball has initiated or swung behind the goal. Their midfield offense downhill has really been non-existent. Everything's come from behind the goal.
There's Catoni coming downhill, drawing the slide. Now Guido, once again guarded by Imbordino. Sees the double coming. Hopkins scores, they win. That's simple. Ben being guarded by the short stick. Now Stanwyck. He has been the creator here this afternoon. And we see a timer on here in overtime. Brown gets it back after the pick. Feed inside. Back to catch. Catoni can't come up with a huge loose ball. It's done. He's got Muir. He's in trouble. Dutton gets rid of it. What a play by Greg Dutton. Now we go the other way. Transition. Do the Buckeyes take a timeout? Jack Riley looking for the takeaway. We got a step here. Flag down. Free possession for the Buckeyes. They don't have to take a timeout. King wants to get on. 90 seconds left unless the Buckeyes score. King on. This is a free possession. King wants it. Now planning.
On here, but your risk is you're going to eat into your extra man time. It's a minute slash coming up on Jack Riley. Go to the goal now, and you're starting to eat into your extra man time, so to speak.
Playing with house money, so to speak, right here on this possession. Shot! And now we get the call.
And obviously,
they did not get the flag in the first overtime. They'll get it here. So Jack Riley, Dave Petramalo told us this year, much more dedicated to the craft. Little over-aggressive there.
No reason. No reason. You're out by the middle of the field. Risk, reward. It's an Ohio State Buckeyes extra man unit that has struggled today.
Last year, 46%. King's inside at the crease. You get an extra man goal here, you're undefeated to start the season. Schneider with room. And it'll stay Buckeye ball. But Schneider denies Schneider and we play on. Now Coach Myers gets the timeout. 13 saves. For the senior goalie from Massapequa.
After controversy in this game, this was a great save off the chest, and then the ball was kicked out of bounds by an Ohio State Buckeye. The referees ruled it was still a shot. Watch this. You got time and room. Eyeing up the goalie. Boom. Right in the chest. Now watch 29 in red kick this ball out of bounds.
That's a savvy Baltimore kid.
He added impetus to it. It should no longer be a shot.
That's a great point, Quinn, because that ball's dying right there in the crease.
Yeah.
That is a savvy Baltimore kid who's been around the game his whole life. Played here at Gilman High School. Transferred from Denver, as we pointed out earlier. And he does a great job of holding off the Hopkins defender as well.
And it can be inadvertent. If the ball hits off the goal.
So it starts with Korber, fittingly. They're shutting off King again with Mom behind. So basically 5-on-4 right here. This is planted. Evans with 15. Planning has room. He gives it up instead. Now Planning up top. And as Paul mentioned, willing to wait for the third overtime. Evans tied up by Pellegrino. He's going to run away and hold on to it.
Great approach by Pellegrino. And that's a huge defensive stand for Hopkins. Good news for the Buckeyes. You've struggled facing off all day. You should possess the ball to start the next OT period.
We continue to play on at Homewood. When we return, triple overtime between Hopkins and Ohio State. It's on section across now in the third overtime. Next year, this is a Big Ten conference rivalry. Now King being guarded by the short stick Maul. Here's Como. Can't hook up with King. And it goes out of bounds. So the Buckeyes get an extra man in double and triple overtime, and they cannot take advantage. And now Guida walks it into the box, and the Blue Jays get a chance to win it. And Dave Petromalo calls timeout.
Hopkins has played excellent team defense in extra time, both at even strength and man down. You know, a couple years ago, Eamon, when Joe Beninati and ESPNU and myself, when we televised that Maryland-Virginia 7 overtime game, you know, a thing that hit, these teams continue to get a timeout each overtime period. And I'm not sure that's in the best interest of the sport of lacrosse. The post game, it took like an hour and a half, and we only played 28 or 35 minutes of lacrosse. You know, it's just so much downtime when each team is given a timeout per period.
All right, we refreshed your memory offensively is how we got here, but let's show you why we're still playing. Eric Schneider first and late in the fourth quarter.
Well, the first game of the year comes out, doesn't show any kind of jitters. He's gotten better as the game has gone on. I like his positioning. He tends to go down from the inside, but he's shown a real intuition. He's been solid with the ball. And any concerns of him handling the spotlight have been answered today. 3
critical saves late, 1 in the fourth quarter.
The kick save here, and I think it hits his right foot.
The one on the doorstep.
It may have hit this defender 35 as well. Let's watch it. Okay, the ball's fed inside.
It's a stick, you're right.
Ah, yeah,
John
Goalie
Kelly.
never touched it. Goalie never touched it. We give him a lot of credit.
Yeah.
Look closely.
Just another game for Schneider. Give the game ball to John Kelly. But he also made a stop on Schneider when Schneider had time and room on that extra man.
Would he have saved it? I think he would have. I think he was on.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
Get the ball behind if you're Johns Hopkins. That's where you've had most of your offensive success.
Stanwyck had assists on the first 5 goals. Now Ben, being guarded by the short stick. Gets underneath, gets his hands free. Lacrosse in triple overtime. Johns Hopkins against Ohio State and Brandon Ben with the game winner for the Blue Jays.
You'll get a good view of this. You dig in defensively, wing dodge. Katoni kicks it down to Ben. Now watch, you're going to get a nice view of this. Topside move, not there. Swim underneath, and you beat him inside post. Looked like Dutton didn't really see that one, and a nice shot by Ben. Was not working with much angle here, and the thought as a goalie is the guy's going to work the offside, but he pulls it near side hip.
And Quint, Brandon Ben isn't just your inside Canadian finisher. That kid can sling it from downtown. That's why he's had attention all afternoon from Ohio State, because of his ability to shoot from 10.
We'll be back here at Homewood next week for Johns Hopkins and Towson. But today, our final score from Homewood Field in triple overtime, Johns Hopkins 10, Ohio State 9. Coming up next, stay tuned for women's college basketball, Memphis against Temple. For Quint, Paul, and our entire ESPNU crew, I'm Eamon McEnany saying so long from Homewood Field.